So I do get asked on occasion why I prefer a dividend payout over a stock buyback. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I don't ever want to shave my positions. I don't want to shave my ass. That requires me getting a razor and shaving my ass, but I don't want to shave my positions either in my portfolio. And those two things are true. It's really hairy down there. It's a jungle. But the truth is, I know that when you get a dividend payout, you get taxed by the government. Yes, I know. I'm aware. Absolutely aware. I get berated by the boglehead community of index fund investors who, I wouldn't say berated. Even Strongman's pretty nice to me. And I have the utmost respect for Strongman. Strongman Personal Finance. Better subscribe. I think the one thing I could say is the reason I love dividends is, yeah, they do take it from the earnings. And also stock buybacks are also done through the earnings as well, because they're basically taking the existing shares. I will give stock buybacks this as a, what do you say? How do you say it? I will give them this. I'll give them credit because stock buyback does allow the existing shares to go, some of them to go out of the trading flow. Terrible terminology sometimes. You'll have to forgive me, everybody. But basically, when you take shares out of circulation, that means there's less shares, which means they're a little more valuable because one, A, it's a valuable company. B, there's going to be less shares, which means the price per share will naturally go up in value. Share buybacks are definitely more tax efficient, but here's the thing. I do believe they're also future inefficient if the company doesn't pay a dividend of any kind or doesn't try to raise it, their dividend. I know dividends and share buybacks technically come out of their earnings. My problem is I don't want to shave off any of my position. I just don't. Why? As the old saying goes, why kill the golden goose when you can keep the golden goose and keep getting those golden eggs from the golden goose? That's how I see the dividends, as the eggs. And I buy and hold, in a manner of speaking, several golden geese. They're all producing eggs for me. And yes, do I get taxed on those eggs? Yes. For every 4 or 3 eggs the goose produces, one of them has to go to the government. For every 3, one has to go to the government. Oh well, I still get 2 eggs out of 3. The point is, you're getting some sort of reward when you hold companies that pay a dividend. I believe that. I believe it's a good thing. I also believe that a company that pays out a dividend has a CEO that is more willing to... What's the word? To make the company better, because if the CEO can make the company more profitable, just way better, then it's going to have a stronger payout of the dividend, especially if the CEO owns stock in a company, which you want that, by the way. You want the CEO to have stake in a company, and you want them to be able to get paid in some way. It adds incentive. So, and you want to get paid too if you're one of the shareholders. And you can take that dividend and use it any way you want. The problem with share buybacks is it's basically, and this is what I hate about share buybacks actually, is you don't have the option of, sure, you could shave off your position if it goes higher, but then you just put your position in some other position. I like dividends because, one, I don't have to sell any position of mine. I just have to hold it. That's all I got to do. And I get that dividend, and I take that dividend, and I just shove it into other companies that I think are I actually don't even reinvest in the same company. That's The difference between me and most investors is I don't actually reinvest in the same company that the dividend came from. In fact, I take all the dividends that I accumulate in a week span in 1 week, and I typically look for positions of mine that I think can be added to. If I feel like a particular company I'm holding is kind of undervalued, and I think it deserves some attention, I'll add to my position for sure. Usually I'm just kind of buying more ETFs, usually very dividend heavy ETFs for sure. And I'll buy them on the dip for sure. That's really how I work. I'm very simple with it, and I believe in my approach. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but I don't care. Yeah, my approach is not tax efficient by any way, and most tax advisors would tell you that I'm an idiot. I think I'm future efficient, but I'm tax inefficient. So, yes, my methodology requires that you pay taxes. But I'm future efficient because I never sell any of my positions. I'm getting rewarded earnings from the company, and I can use those earnings in any way that I see fit. See, the problem with share buybacks is they're taking their earnings and they're buying back their own shares, which, yeah, it raises my equity up for that company. But what if I don't want? What if I don't want that? That's why dividends are so great. It gives you options, because then you get the money real quick. You take that money, throw it into something else, add on to a position in your portfolio somewhere else too. I like that freedom. I think there's a bit of more of a freedom with dividends because it's going back to the shareholder. The shareholder makes the choice. And also with dividends, I can choose to pay off my liabilities a little bit faster. I take dividend payouts and I'll put it towards my car loan. Cool. That's good. It's a good thing. Sometimes I won't, though. I usually just have other methods of doing that. But usually my dividends typically go right back into other positions in my portfolio. Or maybe I'll find some other REIT that I want to add to my portfolio. And I'm like, why haven't I added this one? It's got good earnings. It's blah, blah, blah. I love REITs, by the way. I just want to say I'm a REIT freak. And I love REIT ETFs. Those are pretty cool. I just love real estate investment trusts. What can I say? I think a portfolio full of REITs is a healthy one. Do I think REITs will outperform the S&P 500 or the entirety of the stock market? I don't know. I really don't. All I know is that when there's a bear market and everything's undervalued, in my opinion, I'm buying. I'm just buying. But yeah, my dividend share buybacks, you don't get taxed on a share buyback. I will admit, though, when you do sell your stock, by the way, you're going to get taxed on the sale. So it's like, if you think about it, you're still getting taxed one way or another. Eventually, right? When you do get the realized gains, it's like, I don't know. I look at it like this. For any profit, for anything like that, you're just going to get taxed. I mean, sure, there's long-term capital gains tax, which is less. But no matter what, you're going to get taxed. So if I'm going to get taxed, I'd rather just get taxed on the dividend and use the dividend however the hell I want, whatever amount that ends up being mine. Obviously 30 or 35% or whatever amount, depending on what tax bracket you're in. I'm not a tax advisor. Don't know any of that shit properly. Just use TurboTax. But a lot of it's going to go back. Some of it's going to go back to the government. Some of it's going to go back to you. Whoop-de-doo. So my thing is I'm constantly investing in things that'll appreciate over time, things that'll grow the dividend over time as well. That's kind of what I love. I love dividend investing. I can't help it. It doesn't beat the market. It just doesn't. And maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But whatever, all I got to say is that I like the companies I invest in. They are valuable. I know they have good earnings. I know they're not in massive debt. There's some, like Verizon, that has some debt that concerns me. But I still invest in it because it's one of the bigger major cell phone companies. So I'm going to have some shares in it, along with AT&T, along with just about anything, really. I just love investing, you guys. I can't help it. But also my favorite position in my portfolio is my bet against Bitcoin, the Biddy. Biddy ETF. This is none of this was financial advice, by the way. Always talk to a financial advisor. Listening to some idiot on YouTube like myself is stupid. You know it. But I love betting against Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. I'll always bet against Bitcoin. It's too much fun. Anyway, thank you guys for taking the time. I'm going to probably record a few more videos. But yeah, basically, yes. I love dividend payouts. I like the fact that I never have to sell my position. No part of it has to ever be sold. And it will appreciate as it appreciates. And that's great. And if I choose to reinvest more money into the same company using the dividend, all right. But usually I don't. Usually I find other positions and I use the dividend to further expand the diversification of my portfolio. That's about it. You're probably thinking, well, why don't you just do the Vanguard Total World Index just like Strongman? Well, I do have the VT, by the way, the Vanguard Total World Index. I have that in my portfolio. But I also believe that you should also not have every single company. I don't believe all companies are created equal. I do believe in the bad egg theory to some degree. I do believe that there are certain companies that you just don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. I avoid small cap stocks. There's small cap stocks in the VT. So I just choose to really just find international companies that I believe are good. U.S. companies I believe are good. I still have ETFs, by the way. It's not like I'm not against the Vanguard Total World Index. I just don't have a heavy concentration of it in my portfolio. Just don't. It's as simple as that. But no, I really respect Strongman Personal Finance and what he does, and I just want to say that he has been a huge mentor to me. You probably are wondering, well, if he probably thinks I've gone to the dark side because that's all I love dividends. Like, I'm obsessed. It's terrible. It's like a gambler being obsessed with gambling. But I am a long-term investor, though. I just don't sell. The only thing that's short-term for me is swing trading the biddy. That's always fun. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. We'll make another video here in a few moments later.